Hi lovelies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Maria and today's video is just going to be a reading vlog, and my TBR for this week has kind of been forced by my Libby hold. So there's a new book out that everyone is probably talking about and I wasn't planning on reading it as soon as it came out, but I placed a hold for the audiobook on Libby and it said I was like 30th in the queue, so I thought I had at least 3 weeks before I was going to be getting it, but it came in the next day. So the first book on my TBR this week is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarrow. So I've read obviously Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I did have to watch a bit of a recap for Iron Flame because I read it probably this time last year, so I couldn't remember some of the details in there, but once I got the recap it was kind of, yeah, I remember all of this happening when I was reading it. And Iron Flame, I remember a lot of people really hated it. I think for me it was probably around a 4-star. I didn't absolutely hate it. I think it was a little bit long and probably could have done with a little bit of editing, but overall I still enjoyed the story. It wasn't kind of mind-blowing or anything, and it didn't have that kind of fun factor that I found with Fourth Wing, so I wasn't obsessed with it, but I definitely didn't think it was as bad as some people kind of made it out to be. But Onyx Storm for me is one that I was kind of excited about coming out, but it wasn't kind of top priority for me. It was on my list, but it wasn't top of the list. But now that I've got my audiobook hold, I think I'm just going to pick it up while I have that. Jump on the bandwagon and hopefully obviously avoid spoilers with a lot of people reading it over the next few weeks. It's likely to be all over Bookstagram, all over BookTok, all over BookTube, so kind of jumping on the bandwagon a little bit unintentionally. But this will be one of the books I'm picking up this week. But I have also started Jade City by Fonda Lee, and this was one of my 25 for 2025 books. I really wanted to get this on my TBR. It's one that I've had on my shelf for quite some time, one I've heard absolutely great things about, and one that I've been really just intrigued by essentially. And this one, it's kind of set in a almost historical setting, so there are some kind of modern components in here. It's maybe around 1950s, 1960s or something like that if we're equating it to our world. I don't think it's set obviously in our own world, but it's almost like a urban fantasy feel from what I've read so far. And essentially we're in this city of Janloon, which is basically a fantasy metropolis. Jade is the lifeblood of that city, and we've kind of got two families who are running the Jade within the city and are kind of the best warriors within that town. And essentially Jade gives warriors who are able to wield it enhanced powers and enhanced strength, and only the best warriors are able to wield it. Until recently there was a drug that's kind of been set out to the market that allows non-greenbones, which is kind of the name for anyone who can wield Jade, to wield it as well and get the powers from it. So basically they're at a point where they're worried that foreigners, as they're calling them, will be able to wield Jade and get the powers. But the problem with that is that with Jade, if you're not born to wield it and if you haven't been trained to kind of deal with the powers that you can get with Jade, you can end up having adverse effects from it. So they're kind of worried about that, but I think there's also obviously power struggle within here. A lot of what I've read so far is very much the family dynamics between the leading family within this town, kind of how they work together, the issues that they've had, kind of almost like rich people drama at the start of this, kind of people worried about their place within the family, a lot of tension between the characters. And so far I've really enjoyed it, really liking the writing style, really loving the world that she's building here. It does feel quite lush, even though it's urban fantasy and I don't usually get that with that side of things. I'm feeling with this, it's definitely feeling a lot more lush than I have experienced before, so excited to continue reading this one. I think I'm around 20% in so far, so definitely still kind of in the setup of the story, kind of understanding the dynamics between one of the families and kind of their tensions with the other leading family within the city and how that's maybe going to come to a head soon. So yeah, a lot of tension, a lot of politics, a lot of kind of inner familial relationships, and just been really good, really interesting so far. And as I say, the writing's been really good, so definitely enjoying this. So these are the books that are on my TBR for now. Hopefully get these read over the next few days because I do have a work trip to London on Wednesday, so might get the vlog finished before then. If not, I'll probably take you guys along with me to London, maybe do a bit of book shopping while I'm there. Not sure how much time I have because I do have quite a few client meetings while I'm there, but if I haven't finished these or if I decide to pick up another book and keep it within this vlog, I'll take you guys along with me and kind of show you about. But yeah, for definite I will be including these two, hoping to get these finished before I go on my work trip so that I can maybe squeeze in another book in this vlog. But yeah, really excited about both of these. I think they're very different in terms of obviously the setup for them, so it'd be good to kind of take a break from each of them as I'm reading them. But I've already started Jade City. I am listening to the audiobook for this one as well as reading along, and as I say, my Libby hold for the audiobook for Onyx Storm came in as well, so both of them I'm going to be kind of reading along physically as well as listening to the audiobook because I just love immersive reading like that these days. But yeah, hopefully going to try and start this evening because we do have a storm at the minute today. I think it's supposed to die down by later, but I'm using that as an excuse to have a reading day and a cozy day, so I'll definitely be able to read a bit of this later. I'll jump on once I've read a bit more and let you know how I'm feeling about it, if I'm kind of enjoying it. Not sure how this is going to go. It'll go one of two ways, so yeah, once I've read a bit more I'll jump on and let you know. popping on to give you a quick reading update, and sorry if the lighting looks a little bit weird, but it's literally 3:30 in the afternoon and it looks like night time. I've had a few storms over the past couple of days and I think there's another one coming tonight, so basically any time after 2 o'clock it just feels like it's night time. It's really dark, but hopefully the lighting isn't too bad in this clip. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick update on my reading, where I've got to in both of the books. So today is Sunday, I started the vlog on Friday, so wasn't able to jump on and give you a reading update yesterday, but I did manage to read quite a good bit of Onyx Storm, so I'm now at 34% of this one. So far I'd say I'm enjoying it. I'm not absolutely obsessed. I'm not, you know, dying to get back to it when I'm not reading it or anything, but I think up to this point there has just been a lot of kind of reeling off the events of the last book, trying to kind of understand the events of the last book, and a lot of planning and a little bit of political manoeuvring to try and achieve a goal that they're trying to achieve. I know that's a bit vague, but it's the third book in the series, so I don't want to give any spoilers. So yeah, a lot of what's been going on so far is, as I say, just a recap of the last book. They're planning and they're plotting and they're trying to kind of move forward with some of their ideas. So it's felt a little bit slow for me, but as I say, I'm only 34% in, so I'd imagine it's going to start picking up from now, especially where we are in the book. But really enjoyed Saden's entrance into this book. I just thought it was really good. It was definitely one of those iconic kind of romantic-y scenes, so if you're a Saden fan you'll definitely enjoy that. But yeah, as I say, enjoying it, not dying about it, you know, it's not something that I kind of cannot wait to pick up again, so we'll see how this one goes. I know for Iron Flame it was probably around a 4-star for me. The end of it was really the point that actually brought it up to a 4-star. I think before that it probably would have been about a 3.5, just because it felt quite slow and meandering and there didn't really seem to be a lot happening, so hopefully that's not going to be the case for this one. I've seen quite a few reactions to this already and people saying that the ending is pretty bad, so let's see how this goes. I'll probably give you an update when I'm around 60%, because I think by then hopefully something should have happened, but I think I'll probably jump in once I've got to that point and give you a bit of an update on how I'm feeling on it. I do want to try and get this finished before I go to London on Wednesday, because obviously I've only got the physical copy of this on an audiobook, but I can't always listen to the audiobook while I'm away, but I've been trying to read while I'm listening as well, so hopefully I'll be able to get this finished in the next couple of days before I go away. And then just to update you on Jade City, I'm probably around 42% into this one now, and again, with this one, I think we've just been getting a lot of setup in this book. This is the first book in a series, so that is to be expected. And we're just getting a lot of the family dynamics within here and kind of the dynamics between the two kind of Jade owning families within this town, and kind of how tensions are starting to build between those families. And I think this is a good book for anyone who loves kind of gangster movies or gangster stories and kind of stories around the politics of gangsters. I think this would definitely be a good book for anyone that enjoys that. I am liking the glimpses that we're getting into each of the characters' lives, and at the minute I'm not fully connecting with them. I am enjoying their stories and I am enjoying kind of the family dynamics, but I'm not fully connected to any of them yet. But again, I'm 42% in, so I'm sure that will start to change now that we've got kind of the backdrop to this world, the backdrop to this family, the backdrop to the feud that's kind of building between the two families. That is obviously the main storyline in here, so now that that's been set up, I do think that we'll get a glimpse more into kind of each person's personality and hopefully start to build that connection to each person a little bit more, because at the moment I do feel like we're kind of getting a bit of how they feel about their position within the family, but not so much about them, if that makes sense. So I think now that that setup has been done, I think we'll get a lot more about the characters and hopefully it will help me with that connection to them. But again, this is one that I'm reading and enjoying while I'm reading it, but not one that I'm dying to pick up when I'm not reading it, so I don't know if it's a me problem, if I'm getting into a bit of a slump or something like that, but both books are at the minute just, I am enjoying them, you know, they're good. I can kind of see objectively that they're both written quite well, especially this one is written very well, so there's no reason I shouldn't be enjoying them, but they're just not anything that I'm dying over at the minute, so they're both kind of meh books at the minute. But I'm hoping now that I've kind of passed the 30% and the 40% mark in both of them that they will start to pick up a little bit. I think they are just both being a little bit slow paced up to this point, and that's maybe why I'm feeling like they're maybe dragging a little bit. But yeah, it could just be a me problem. Maybe I'm getting into a bit of a slump, I don't know. But so far I'd say they're enjoyable. Objectively they're pretty good, but nothing that I'm dying over at the moment. As I say, it's pretty stormy weather tonight, so I'm hopefully going to get a good bit more of Onyx Storm read. I do want to, as I say, try and get this done before Wednesday, so I will be prioritising this because I do have Jade City on my Kindle, so I can still read this while I'm away. But ideally I'd like to get both of them finished so that I can move on to something else when I'm away in London, but we'll see. Hopefully I can squeeze these both in before Wednesday. I also want to try and update my book journal because I'm severely slacking in that. I haven't even got my just yearly spreads done yet, never mind my kind of January setup, so definitely want to do a bit of that as well, so I might try and do some of that tonight. But yeah, other than that, just be chilling, reading, just trying to get as much of this read as possible, and yeah, I'll jump on as soon as I have any more reading updates. Hi lovely, so I know I said I would jump on when I was about 60% into Onyx Storm, but to be quite honest, my feelings were kind of the same at 60%. I do think there's a lot of kind of meandering and travelling and finding out certain things within this book that took us up to probably that 60% mark, and I didn't want to jump on and kind of give you just the same feelings about the book, so I have actually finished this one. And I must say I did really enjoy the last 40% of this much more than I did the first kind of 60%, and that's not to say the first 60% was bad. It just felt a little bit repetitive, and it might just be a me thing because sometimes I do enjoy stories where there's a lot of travelling and a lot of almost like a quest that they're going on to get somewhere. This one, it just felt a little bit repetitive at times, and certain aspects of it just didn't really hit the way I think they're supposed to within this because of that repetitive nature of the story. So take that with a pinch of salt. It could just be a me thing. If you enjoy it, it may be absolutely fine. But for me, it did feel a little bit meandering and a little bit repetitive, just up until that 60% mark. However, I do think it was necessary for this. You have to remember, this is obviously the third book in a series, and I do think it was necessary for us to broaden out the world, broaden out the lore, meet new characters from different lands, and just kind of build out this world that Rebecca Yarros is trying to build. So while it felt a little bit slow, and I think I did mention in my last clip, I'm maybe a little bit slumpy at the minute as well, I do think it was necessary. I don't think there was anything in there that I would say, you know, you could have taken out. Some of it could have been a little bit less repetitive, but that's a very minor niggle from my side. I'd say the last 40% is really where the plot came in and really where we started to get answers to questions that we've been asking since the start of the series. I've seen some people say that they think it was a bit rushed, but I do think that this book needed that extra pace and to kind of keep it a bit more fast paced for the stakes that the characters are going under in here, you know. I think that was the main gripe I had with the first 60% is I didn't feel the high stakes. So when things were happening, it was kind of out of the blue, but it was happening multiple times, if that makes sense. So it just didn't seem consistent in the first 60%. But after that, I really enjoyed the pacing. I really enjoyed the plot development. We got to see a bit more from some of the side characters as well. So I really enjoyed that. And there was a few twists and turns in there that definitely kept me surprised. So I think overall I'll probably give this one a 4-star because I don't think it was mind-blowing. It is a bit of a filler book, but again, it's a third book in what I think is going to be a 5-book series. So that is to be expected. There is a little bit of filler in here, but I don't think it's a filler book the same way that Reckless was in the Powerless series, where nothing really happens in that book to develop the plot. Whereas with this, yes, it was a little bit slow at the start, but I do think there was plenty of detail in that last 40% and even throughout in terms of learnings about Violet, her parents, about Satan's parents and things like that. So even though it felt slow, there was definitely still plot development in there, and again, the last 40% really picked up that pace, so really enjoyed that. Obviously it ended on a huge cliffhanger, and I'll be honest, I'm still a little bit confused of how we got there to that cliffhanger, but I'm just reading through some other people's theories to try and work that out because yeah, it did kind of come out of the blue. But yeah, I think I'll definitely be continuing on with this series. I know the next book's probably not going to be out for quite some time. I know that she has said she'll be taking a break from writing for a while, but overall I've definitely enjoyed this. I wouldn't say Fourth Wing is like a 5-star series for me or anything. I really enjoyed the first book. This book and the second book have both been around 3.5 to 4-star for me, so overall I'd probably say it's around a 4-star series. I would definitely say if you're getting into fantasy or romantasy, this is definitely one to pick up. Even though there's a really good world in here and quite good world building, I would say this is very romance forward. A lot of kind of the characters' motivations are to do with the romance and the person that they love, so if you like romance, you'll probably enjoy the romance in here as well. And just to touch on that, I've seen a few people kind of saying that they felt like Satan and Violet, who are the main characters in here, were a little bit inconsistent with the characterizations of before, and I personally just see it as growth and change. You know, when you think about what these characters have been through in the past few books, I don't think that it's that they're inconsistent with their personality, and especially with what's happening to one of the characters in here, some of their behaviours will have changed because of what they're going through and because of what they've been through. So I definitely think there was a good bit of character development in here as well. But yeah, as I say, overall 4 stars for this one. Did definitely enjoy it. Definitely made me intrigued to continue with the series. So I'll be excited to see once the next book comes out. So yeah, I was really glad to get that finished because obviously I wanted to get that finished before I go to London. I'm travelling there tomorrow, so just kind of sped through that to try and get that finished before I go. But I have still read a little bit more of Jade City, and I do think that since the last time we spoke, basically both of the books just took a turn and I ended up enjoying them a lot more. So there's been quite a good bit of development in here in terms of the plot. It's definitely picked up as well. I think obviously this is the first book, so I was giving this a bit of benefit of the doubt in terms of there being a bit of a slower pace and a bit of a build up because we're just getting to know this world, we're just getting to know the politics, we're just getting to know the characters. But literally about 3 chapters after where I was the last time when we spoke, there was quite a lot that's happened in here, and it's kind of really changed the trajectory of where I thought this story was going to go. So really interested to see how this is going to develop in the last kind of, I think I'm around 55%, so in the last 45%, I'm going to hopefully get a good bit of this read today, and I'll probably finish it when I'm travelling tomorrow. tomorrow. But yeah, it was a pretty unexpected twist that's kind of happened at the 55% mark in this one, so really intrigued to see where she takes this one and how that kind of changes the development of this story, and just to see where it takes us, because it totally took me by surprise. This is definitely not a read that I would say is predictable, but yeah, probably pop in once I finish this one to give you a bit of an update on how this has gone. Depending on how long this vlog is, I may end up including some London content for you. I might go book shopping and things like that, but not sure if that'll be a separate video or if it'll be in this one, but I'll definitely do a little bit of B-roll and add it in here as well. But yeah, as I say, hopefully going to get a good bit of this read today, and I'll read some more of it when I'm travelling tomorrow, and I'll jump on once I've finished. Hi lovelies! As you'll have probably seen, I am now in London, so I did do a little bit of B-roll and I've done a bit of shopping, but basically I've been here for the past couple of days just for a few client meetings, so past couple of days have just been really busy, just working, but I do have a bit of a free evening and a free morning tomorrow, so start off my free time with just doing a bit of book shopping in some of the local bookshops near where I stay. We've got Dawn Books, which isn't too far from here, and then I can also get the tube just up to Tottenham Court Road, and that brings me to Foyles, which you will have seen in the B-roll already, so had a great time just walking around there. I always find that the bookshops here are just so much bigger than the bookshop that we have back home, so I tend to see a lot more of the books that I'm maybe interested in real life, kind of see their covers, get to hold them, and maybe just get a few ideas of books that I maybe haven't seen. So there's usually quite a few authors and things like that I just don't see in my local Waterstones, so it's always really fun to come over here and kind of do in-person book shopping, and there's always just so many more options. So yeah, anytime I'm over here, if I have a bit of free time, I always kind of plan in some book shopping time, but I didn't end up picking anything up today because I only have hand luggage, so I have minimal room, and I know I'm going to go to Waterstones in Piccadilly tomorrow, and perhaps Hatchards, which is kind of on the same road there as well, so I didn't want to go too early and kind of pick something that I want to bring home. There was nothing really like a special edition or anything that I seen anyway, so everything that I seen today I can probably pick up in Waterstones or Hatchards as well. There's no need to kind of pick it up today, and if I really do want to go back to one of those bookstores tomorrow, I should have enough time. But yeah, plan is for tomorrow just to get up quite early, have a bit of breakfast, and then head into Piccadilly so that I can go to Waterstones there. So if you've never been to that one, it's actually the biggest Waterstones in maybe the world, I'm not too sure, but I think it's like 7 levels or something something like that. It's absolutely huge. It's crazy. You could literally spend a day in there just browsing, and they have sections for every type of book you can think of, and I don't think I've ever gone in there and left without at least one book. Even when I have no room in my suitcase, I always end up picking up at least one book. So really excited to go back there and just see what they have, even if it's just to kill a bit of time. I usually have a little coffee in the cafe there as well, so just something I always look forward to if I do have to travel for work, if I'm going to have a bit of extra time. I just love being able to spend a bit of time in that Piccadilly store because I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's the plans for the morning, so I will bring you along with me. You'll probably get a bit more B-roll. I'll show you what they have, and if I do pick anything up, I think I'll have time when I get back to the hotel before I have to check out to show you what I pick up. So I'll definitely let you know. But plans for this evening are just to chill. I have a bit of work to catch up on, but I'll probably catch up on a bit of booktube and stuff like that while I'm doing that as well. And just got myself a pizza, so I'm just going to be chilling, eating that, having a bit of downtime, unwinding. It's been a long couple of days. But I did want to give you an update on my reading. So I have actually finished Jade City. I don't have the physical copy with me. I was reading it on my Kindle, but I finished it yesterday when I was travelling, and I'm a bit conflicted with this one because I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but it wasn't something that I was dying to kind of get back into. I do think that it's a much slower paced book than I was expecting, especially because it's, you know, around gangster, and kind of I was thinking it would be pretty fast paced, action packed, and there were plenty of action scenes, but I do think it was much more of a character study and a lot more of a kind of exploration of this family dynamic that they have and kind of the different responsibilities that they had, how that impacted them, how that kind of shaped their lives. And while I did really enjoy that, I'm not sure I fully connected with any of the characters. I think there was a little bit of telling rather than showing in certain areas, and I don't know if that's what it was that kind of impacted my connection to the characters. But yeah, I'm a bit conflicted because on the face of it, I think it's a really good book. It was really well written. You know, there was lots of really lovely passages that I probably would have highlighted were I annotating, but at the same time, it wasn't one that was really gripping me, and it didn't really reel me in, even though there was, you know, immersive folklore and kind of a build-up of this world. I do think that the story could have been told without any fantasy element and maybe would have still had the same impact for me. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was bad or anything like that, but it's not the 5-star that I was expecting it to be, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe my expectations were too high. So I think I'm going to rate it around a 3.75, but I'm going to sit on it for a while and just decide to see if it's something that I do think about. I am probably going to read the second book as well, but the way that it ended as well was a little bit anticlimactic. I think in my last update I told you that there had been a few things happening and the pace had kind of picked up. That did kind of ramp up until maybe 75 to 80%, and then it kind of went down again. So I'll be interested to see where book 2 takes it, and kind of if it is more of the same, or if it's going to widen out the world, or kind of what the story is going to be, because at the moment I can't really tell. It could potentially just be more of the same. So yeah, I'll be interested to see that. But yeah, overall I think if you really love gangster movies or anything kind of within that realm, you'll probably really enjoy this, because it was very reminiscent of a lot of those old kind of 90s and 80s gangster movies that I've seen. So perhaps it's just not a genre for me. But so yeah, I'd say if you did enjoy them, this is probably going to be a good book for you, especially because it has that kind of sprinkling of, it was almost like magical realism feel. It actually kind of felt more like a literary fiction to me with a little bit of magical realism. But beyond that, as I say, it was great writing. I did enjoy the world. I think the world building was done pretty well. It just wasn't exactly what I was expecting. So yeah, 3.75 for that one. I'll probably not vlog my next reads. I'm not really sure what I'm going to pick up. We're kind of at the end of the month, so I'll probably be starting my new reads for February. And I'm kind of in a bit of a weird mood about what I want to read, whether I want to read kind of a palette cleanser or if I want to pick up kind of my next fantasy read. I'm just not sure what to pick up. I don't know if I'm in a slump. I think I've said that about 5 times in this video, but I may be going into a bit of a slump, so I may end up just picking up a little romance or something like that, just to kind of give me something that's a bit easy to read and something that isn't going to take too much brain power. But yeah, I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided, so I'll maybe keep you updated, but it's likely it won't be in this vlog because I think this vlog is going to end up quite long now that I've kind of added in my London shopping days. But just going to relax now, just going to have a bit of chill time, catch up on some of my work, have my pizza, and then I'll bring you along with me in the morning when I go to Waterstones and do a bit more book shopping. Hi lovelies, I'm just back from Waterstones, so I thought I'd just give you a quick haul. So I went to Waterstones and then I did also go to Hatchards. I didn't end up buying anything in Hatchards because I'd already bought 2 books in Waterstones and I just have to be very, very conscious of my hand luggage and being able to fit it in, but did end up getting a couple of books while I was in Waterstones. So the first book I got is The Demon King by Cinda Williams Chima, and this is one, the reason I got it is because I've seen it about 4 times now while I've been shopping in the bookshops over here, and it's one that I've had on my kind of Goodreads want to read list for absolutely ages. It's probably one of the first books that I put on there when I set up my Goodreads, and I just never see it in the flesh and it just kind of goes out of my mind anytime I'm thinking of buying books and things like that. So decided to pick this one up. I do think it's a bit more high fantasy. It could be an older one, I'm not sure when this was first released, but I think this one has quite a wide set of characters. I think we've got a princess in there, we've got wizards, there's magical amulets, I think there's probably some sort of doom that's going to be coming to the world and their stories kind of converge. So decided to pick this one up just so that I have it on my shelves. I'm probably going to put it on my TBR card to maybe pick it up sometime soon. Sounds like it's something I'll really enjoy. And I kind of love the cover. It kind of looks a little bit kind of like vintage kind of fantasy. Again, I don't know when this was published. Let me have a look. So it was first published in 2010, so it's not that old, but it does kind of give kind of 90s fantasy vibes, if you know what I mean, with this cover. But yeah, decided to pick this one up. And then the next one is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, and this one is basically just because I've heard a lot of people say really good things about it. People seem to have really enjoyed it, say it's one of their kind of god tier series. So again, I'm trying to read a little bit more high fantasy this year, and I believe this one does fall into that category. And again, I literally know nothing about this. I'm just going off other people's vibes and what they've said about it, and I've just heard that this writer is amazing. And I read kind of the first paragraph and the first page and immediately was intrigued. So again, not one I usually see in my local Waterstones, so decided to pick this one up as well. So yeah, quite a modest haul for me, but as I say, I had to be really conscious of my hand luggage, and even getting these in may be a challenge, so I'm gonna have to try and fit these in my bag now. But I think I'm gonna end the vlog here because I'm probably gonna be starting some new books, and this has probably been a little bit longer than my normal vlogs anyway. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed coming with me book shopping in London and seeing a few different scenes than you probably see in my normal vlogs. I'll hopefully be coming to London again in a couple of months. I think I have a few work trips planned, so I'm very, very fortunate that I do get to travel with my job sometimes, and especially coming to London because I love book shopping here. So if you do have any recommendations for good bookshops here, definitely let me know and I'll maybe check those out next time I'm here. But I must say, I do love going to Waterstones in Piccadilly. It just feels like home. I absolutely love it. But yeah, that's everything for this video. So as I say, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. Let me know the last book you bought and if it's one you think I should be adding to my TBR. If you like this video, do remember to give it a like, and if you want to see more from me, remember to subscribe. I post 2 videos per week and it's videos like this, so reading vlogs, come shopping with me, book hauls, TBR jars, recommendation videos, all good bookish things like that. Other than that, thanks so much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye!